So I heard you want to start gardening in Florida. You've come to the right place. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 tips for a beginner gardener in Florida. Let's get right into it. The first thing you need to do is understand how Florida seasons are different than the rest of the temperate climates in the United States. While the rest of the U.S. is growing tomatoes throughout the summer, we are turning to our tropical and subtropical plants. Now there's North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida, and the temperatures are going to vary quite a bit. We range from zone 8, zone 9, and all the way to zone 10 or 11 here in Florida. It's a very long state. So some places in North Florida will have a frost in the early part of the year, maybe around February or March, but some places down in like Key West or even Miami, they won't frost at all. In general though, we have 2 main growing seasons, and that's the spring and the fall. In the spring, we're going to plant our cucumbers and our squashes and tomatoes and peppers right after any danger of frost has gone. And the goal in the springtime is to get those plants to harvest before the heat of the summer and before the pests of the summer kick in. Then as we get into our rainy summers, that's when we transition to some heat-loving and even tropical or subtropical plants like tropical spinach, our southern peas, and our okra and our Seminole pumpkin do really well in summertime. Ask any Florida gardener, I'm pretty sure we'll all agree that the fall is the best time to plant. When we get into December and January, our hours of sunlight drop way low and our temperatures are down near probably the 50s. That's when we start seeing stunted growth because of low sunlight hours or stunted ripening. But in the fall, when we do those common brassicas like cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and our leafy greens, those can grow all the way through winter and into spring without any issues at all. Stay tuned for the end of this video where I'll share a bonus tip with reliable resources about plant timing advice. While we're getting to know each other, let me introduce myself. My name is Jen and I'm here in Melbourne, Florida, Zone 10A for gardening. On this channel, I share my journey with learning how to garden in my suburban backyard in hopes that I can inspire others to start a garden as well. If this is the type of content that you're interested in, hit that subscribe button and check out some of the videos on my channel. Now let's get back to my beginner tips. My second tip is to plant the right plant at the right time, and this is so critical in Florida. Because of our extra humid environment and our really high pest populations, we have to get this right to have the best shot at succeeding with our crops. Some crops like cucumbers and squashes are extremely susceptible to pests and diseases. Just ask my subscribers over in Osprey, Florida, how they feel about pickleworms. Around May or June is when the pickleworm population starts to pick up, and if you still have cucumbers on the vine, they're going to pierce your cucumbers, and then there's nothing you can do about it. Then we get into the rainy season, and some of these plants don't like their leaves to get wet. Wet leaves and wet soil just creates an environment where something like powdery mildew or a different type of fungus will thrive and really hurt your plants. Then there's obviously the temperatures. If you were to plant a cool season crop in the middle of May, it's really not going to do well. Chances are your leafy greens or your brassicas like broccoli and cabbage would just bolt if they were planted in May. So Florida-specific planting guides consider the pest population, the drought and rainy season for disease susceptibility, and they even consider the temperature when telling you what time to plant your crop. So I highly recommend as a beginner you follow these planting guides. Here on this channel, I publish a monthly planting guide with information about when to direct sow, when to transplant, and whether you're in North Florida, Central Florida, or South Florida, when the right time to plant a certain crop is. Let me take a moment and share with you this easy self-watering planter that I think is great for beginners. This is the color cream white, but it also comes in a fog gray and a sage green. The way that it works is this external portion is the water reservoir, and this insert actually contains wicking cells at the very bottom, which wick up that water into the soil to water from below. There is this gauge right here which will tell you when you need to refill the water, and you can see right now I'm ready for a refill. I can open this port right here and fill up the reservoir with water. Another critical component of this is right here. This is an air vent. That design is so important to prevent any root rot. I'll drop a link to this planter in the description box below so you can get yours today. My third tip is maintain or even improve your soil health. Soil health is one of, if not the most important thing in gardening. and there's different methods of maintaining your garden soil. Our edible crops, as they grow, will be consuming the nutrients in the soil, so we need to find a way to replenish those nutrients back into the soil. Adding organic compost on a seasonal basis to the top of your raised bed is a great way to do just that. Another method is cover cropping, especially in the summer. Some gardeners prefer to take the summer off because of the heat, and they'll grow what's called a cover crop. So they're going to be growing something like sorghum Sudan grass, mustard greens, or even southern peas, and chopping them down and tilling them into the top layer of soil before the flowering of the plant. What this is going to do is add a green manure back into your soil, which will break down and provide your soil with nutrients, most notably nitrogen, back into your soil. This process will increase the nutrients in your garden soil so that your plants will thrive in the fall. Crab meal is something that we need to be adding to our soil in Florida to prevent infestations of root knot nematodes. These are common soil-borne pests that are microscopic and you can't even see them, but they will feed on the roots of your plants and destroy whatever you're growing. Crab meal contains chitin, which is nourishment for the beneficial soil microbes which feed on our root knot nematodes. So remember, to improve our odds of having healthy plants free from pests and diseases, we need to plant the right crop at the right time, and we need to maintain our soil health. My fourth tip is to always interplant with herbs and flowers. Flowers are going to attract the pollinators to your plants, which will help pollinate some of those large fruiting crops like tomatoes and cucumbers and squashes. Some flowers like nasturtium can even act as a trap crop for sucking insects like aphids. Now, a lot of herbs can actually deter the pests from even approaching your edible crop because the scent of the herb throws them off. And similar to flowers, once those herbs bolt and go to seed, they're doing the job of flowers and attracting the pollinators as well. This is something that you'll need to be doing season after season and year after year. Get creative with your flowers and herbs. Seems like there's a million out there that we can learn about. My fourth tip is to water wisely. Drip irrigation is a great option to keep the water off the leaves of the plant, and it'll slowly soak the soil to water more efficiently. Watering overhead or with sprinklers can work, but just know that by doing that, you're probably wetting the foliage on the crops and making them a little bit more susceptible to diseases. Watering timing is also an important step to consider. Watering early morning before the sun gets to its peak intensity is a great way to let your plants soak up that water before the sun has a chance to evaporate it. Now, there's also unique options like an Oya if you don't have a running drip system, or hand watering if you prefer to be out in the garden every morning. Now it's time for my bonus tip, which is to get to know your Florida gardening resources. UF-IFAS Extension has a great website and even has offices in every county in the state of Florida. Their mission is to share some of the research and information that they've gathered over years and years of research. And there's also several YouTube channels like this one that can provide Florida gardening advice. Some of my favorites include Jera's Garden, Homegrown Florida, and Wild Floridian. There's also some really great Facebook groups for Zone 10 gardening, Zone 9 gardening, Central Florida gardening. Just search around your area for Facebook groups, and I'm sure you'll find one that's very helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.